Hi and welcome to all the racing enthusiasts around the globe joining us as we pre-record this meeting. We're recording on Friday morning for Saturday the 22nd of February and looking forward to being in Cape Town. I'll be in Cape Town presenting, so on the line with me is Graham Hawkins. Firstly, Graham, they tell me the weather's going to be magnificent on the day, and I haven't been there in many years, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how it's transpired that side.
Yes, Sheldon, and I'm sure the guys are looking forward to welcoming you into town, your first visit in a very long while to Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. You'll be amazed about the transformation, everything that has been added to the class and comfort of Hollywoodbets Kenilworth as a premier racing venue. Cape Racing have done a wonderful job, so it's fitting that you're there on Derby Day because it's the last Grade 1 race meeting of the summer season. And yes, it should be a great day's racing. A mixture of some complicated races and some that appear to be relatively straightforward.
Well, let's get straight into the first race, which is a Grade 3 Splash Out Cape of Good Hope Nursery over 1,200 meters. And in this event, 5 unbeaten horses putting their reputation on the line. 3 of them colts and 2 of them fillies. And number 1, Winter Snap, opened 7-2, went 4-1, and they snapped that up now 5-2. Number 3, Wild Green, a joint 5-2 favourite. Number 2, Direct Hit, who certainly woke up the stars with that 21.8, 400 to finish, winning by over 7 lengths. And then number 5, Absolutely Yes, and number 6, Island Forever, around 11-2. How do you make the first race? Obviously, with these unbeaten horses, very difficult to gauge how they're going to progress from that first and second run.
Yeah, I think it's quite a complicated little race. It's a good renewal of the Splash Out Cape of Good Hope Nursery Grade 3, 1,200 meters. Doesn't form part of the exotics on this 9-race program. But it's going to be an interesting race nonetheless because nice to be able to gauge the progression that the 2-year-olds are making from one run to the next. You mentioned number 2, Direct Hit. Kudos to Alan Creer for bringing the 2-year-old daughter of Canford Cliffs into town to take on 7 local rivals. And as you say, she was super impressive on debut when winning by more than 7 lengths, and she was confidently expected to do so. She was backed in from even money to 6-10. That was over the minimum trip of 1,000 meters, and clearly she is very, very fast. The 1,200 meters at Kenilworth, as you know, is quite a tough 6 furlongs, so this is going to test her. But Alan Creer knows what it takes to bring a 2-year-old into town. It's not the first time he's raiding the nursery here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. And Richard Fourie obviously is retained by Ridgemont. He rides number 2, Direct Hit. As you say, one of the 5 unbeaten 2-year-olds in the race. There's been money around for number 1, Winter Snap. Won well on debut and also well supported in the market. Won by close on 2 lengths. And a factor in favour of the 2-year-old son of What a Winter is that Candice Bass-Robinson is generally quite soft on her 2-year-olds coming into their debut runs. Nonetheless, Winter Snap did the job and did the job well. And there's likely to be quite a lot of improvement now that it has its second start. And also, stepping up to 1,200 meters will be in Winter Snap's favour. Wild Green has done nothing wrong, unbeaten 2 from 2. Was impressive on Met Day when beating Claire de Lune by more than a length. So certainly number 3, Wild Green, is coming along the right way. And as you mentioned, the fillies do get their 2.5 kilogram sex allowance. Absolutely Yes and Island Forever, both winners on debut. Perhaps number 5, Absolutely Yes, a little more impressively than number 6, Island Forever, but both will have plenty of scope for improvement. So it's not an easy race to assess. It's not an easy race to nail your colours to the mast. Without a great deal of confidence, I'd be in the camp of number 1, Winter Snap, because I think there's a lot more improvement to come from the son of What a Winter.
On to race number 2, and race number 2 is over 1,400 meters. Just having a look will be the opening leg of the bipart, leg number 1. Number 7, Regulation, the money horse, from 7-2 down 18-10. And this is a horse who's a 2-time winner. JP van der Merwe jumps aboard, so the money has certainly come. Number 1, Honor of Kings, and number 3, Master of the Desert, around 4-1. And then number 6, Scottish Lynx, has gone cold now, 7-1 from 4-1, and better the rest. Now let's kick off with number 1, Honor of Kings. On the up, blinkers and gelding, certainly done the trick. And as you were mentioning off air, that run to Regulation, 1.5 kgs better off.
Yeah, they met on the 5th of November. That was quite a while ago when Regulation won his maiden. He beat Honor of Kings by a little less than half a length. Honor of Kings is now a keen and a half better off. But more than that, I think Honor of Kings has shown good improvement in blinkers. He was blinkered last time out when beating My Archangel comfortably. And since that run, he's also been gelded. So he makes his debut as a gelding. He's drawn in pole position. And I'm quite strongly in the camp of number 1, Honor of Kings, despite the money coming for his stable companion, number 7, Regulation. Regulation is a 3-parts brother to the July winner, Bulgarian. As we mentioned, he won over 1,400 meters. He's also won over 1,600 meters, beating Empire State, who was such a convincing winner over the past weekend. Perhaps he didn't get the best of luck in the Derby trial, the Politician Stakes, when unplaced behind sights. It might be a little bit of a concern that he steps back to 1,400 meters, but one has to respect the money for the Justin Snaith Trains runner. So Justin does seem to have quite a strong hold here with numbers 1, Honor of Kings, and 7, Regulation. I'm in the camp of number 1, Honor of Kings, to beat his stable companion, but it doesn't end there. Number 3, Master of the Desert, has some claims. Interestingly, if you go back in collateral form, if you think that number 3, Master of the Desert, has a chance at 4-1, then the rank outsider at 20-1, number 4, Water Dragon, can't be ignored. In his penultimate start when winning his maiden, he beat Master of the Desert by half a length, and he's now much better off at the weights. Green Garnet can get into the money. As you say, Scottish Lynx, it's gone a bit cold in the market, but was the convincing winner of his last start. Paratrooper, not too far behind Master of the Desert last time out. So I question that form line a little bit, which is why I'm sitting on the fence with Master of the Desert. I do think that Justin Snaith will win the race, and I'm much more strongly in the camp of number 1, Honor of Kings.
That'll take us on to the opening leg of the place accumulator, race number 3 over 1,400, SABC Class 3. And just looking at the benchmark, 60 kilograms will be 96, where number 1, Talk to the Master, is 7-2. Scratch number 4, Moonlight Trader, at the early time of recording. Number 10, Power and the Glory, 4-1. 3, Rosh Kadesh, 9-2, with number 5, Kariaku. Number 6, Gallic Dream, is 5-1, and then number 9, San Pedro, at 8-1. 14-1 and upwards the rest. Now, Graham, when you look at this race, quite an open affair. A number of horses have run 2nd and 3rd in their last 2 outings. At 20-1, number 7, Tutor Fate, and number 9, San Pedro, at around 8 and 10-1. 2 runners that you need to include into your trifectas and swingers?
I think so. I think this is a very, very good race, this Class 3 1,400 meters. It's a good race because it's a deep race, many with winning claims. Let's chat about a couple of those outsiders first. Number 7, Tudafay. If you go back in his form lines, he loves this 1,400 meters. He pops up at big odds when least expected to do so. He's got a handy galloping weight of 54.5. And a couple of runs back, he ran 2nd to Big Unit and 3rd to Gallic Dream. Gallic Dream is one of the principals in the market here, but Tudafay is weighted to come home ahead of both Big Unit and Gallic Dream. So if you give Gallic Dream a chance, then at big odds, you've got to give number 7, Tudafay, a chance. And Craig Bantam has been riding well, and as I say, if you're looking for a horse to boost those trifecta and quartet dividends, you could do worse than number 7, Tudafay. San Pedro likes to go out there and make the running. This is his favorite trip, 1,400 meters. He's got a bit of a weight to carry, 60.5, but he's a solid 5-year-old son of Vercingetorix, and he seldom runs a bad race. So he's going to make them gallop here, is number 9, San Pedro. Whether he can hold on, only the race will show, because there are a number of really promising 3-year-olds in the race, including Talk to the Master, who's drawn in pole position. Good first run as a gelding, went 3rd behind Gem King, and he's always shown above average ability. He does have 60 kilograms as a 3-year-old to shoulder, but the draw will help. So Talk to the Master deserves to be at the top of the betting boards. The faster that San Pedro goes, the better it'll suit number 3, Rosh Kadesh, who likes to run at them late. Good 2nd behind Tananga, over 1,200 last time out. Nicely drawn and will go well over this 1,400 meters. Kariaku has a solid campaign, and with just 52.5 to shoulder, he's got to make his presence felt. Gallic Dream is stable companion to Kariaku. As I said, Tudafay is actually weighted to finish ahead of Gallic Dream, and on past form, there's not a hell of a lot to choose between Gallic Dream and number 10, Power and the Glory. Power and the Glory is highly regarded. He's a half-brother to Double Superlative, who of course won the Met and the Guineas, and Power and the Glory makes his debut as a gelding. So he's had 4 starts to date. His last run on the 7th of December, second to Gallop Dream. He's been gelded in the interim. Handsome Prince goes 1,400 meters for the first time in his early part of his career. He showed a lot of promise, including a victory over Talk to the Master. Third in that very strong race behind Little Ballerina, places behind Dean Street and Luamba, Pampili and Lion Rampart. He was only beaten a length by Ryan Rampart 3 runs back. He goes 1,400 for the first time. If he takes to it, he could certainly be another that could run into the trifectas and quartets. This is not an easy race. It's the start of the place accumulated. It's very competitive, and I think that you may be wise. We've got a lot of bankers to come later on. Potentially there could be a place accumulator upset, yes, a go a bit wider than you may have thought initially you would have to do.
Right, on to your suggested bet for the day, which is the pick 6, a skeleton perm, and obviously the guys can add, subtract, do what they want to do with their own calculations. But race number 4, just giving you the betting as I update the device here. The current favourite is number 6, Scarlet Macaw at 5-2, firm in the market. Number 5, Kinda Wonderful from 7-2 down 3-1. Number 3, Goodness Gracious Me at 7-2, and number 1, Gimme Everything at 9-2. That's the top 4 in the betting. So that's 1, 3, 5, and 6, and those are your 4 numbers in the pick 6. Let's kick off with number 1, Gimme Everything Graham, a horse that I think just need a bit of time to mature, and they've slowly brought this individual along, and it's just climbing the ladder at a rate of knots.
Yes, very impressive, particularly the post-maiden win. This, as you mentioned, is the first leg of the pick 6. Just to remind everybody, we do have a pick 6 carryover, 500,000 Rand. We're expecting that pool to reach 3 million. And Give Me Everything on an upward curve. Now, Sheldon, the ratings here suggest that it's a choice race between Kinda Wonderful and Scarlet Macaw. If you look at the best weighted column, they're well clear of the balance. But this will be their first foray over 1,800 meters. They've earned their ratings over less ground, where there's a lot of evidence to suggest that numbers 1, Give Me Everything, and 3, Goodness Gracious Me, the further they go, the better they're going to be. So although they're quite well held in terms of the official ratings, there's every reason to believe that both numbers 1, Give Me Everything, and 3, Goodness Gracious Me, are going to relish going up to 1,800 meters, whereas there might be some kind of a question mark against the names of number 5, Kinda Wonderful, and 6, Scarlet Macaw. Of course, Scarlet Macaw, she got her ratings rise when running second to Fatal Flaw in the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas. If you're going to include only 4, the perm I'll put up for the pick 6 is really a skeleton. I think many people are going to go the field in the opening leg of the pick 6. We've got bankers to come. It's going to be interesting to see how people strategize around the pick 6. I think you're going to have to play a number of perms, small perm multiple times. Then maybe look to get 1 or 2 of the good things beaten if you can. But it's going to be interesting tactical play to make hay of this pick 6 pool, which should climb to around the 3 million Rand mark with so many short-priced favourites in the mix. This race, the Racecape Fillies Classic, listed over 1,800 metres, is not one of those where you can absolutely nail your colours to the mast. So the field is the obvious strategy, but if you're looking to go lighter than that, then 1, 3, 5, and 6. As I said, 5, Kinda Wonderful, and 6, Scarlet Macaw representing the class. Give Me Everything and Goodness Gracious Me representing the 2 that are on an upward curve and will really enjoy 1,800 meters.
Right, let's go on to race number 5, which is Jackpot 1, Leg 1, over 1,600 meters. And this is the City of Cape Town Jetmaster Stakes, listed for all horses, no allowances. Now, Graham, when it comes to the betting, number 10, See It Again, he's done it with the best. He's competed at the highest level. And just looking at this fella, he did not have the ideal prep going into the Met after things didn't go right for him in the penultimate run. Just looking at number 4, See It Again, 4-10 for me seems a little bit on the sharp side, but we'll get to that in a minute. I like your thinking of putting number 1, Zapatias, in at 10-1. For me, this is the upset type. He gets the draw swing around, and the drop to 1,600 meters, I think that could be the winning recipe for number 1, Zapatias, to run an absolute crack at 11-10, a fixed place with Hollywood.
Yeah, I'm expecting a much better run from number 1, Zapatias. I think you've got to ignore the Met run completely. That was too far for him. I think he comes back to 1,600 meters. He's drawn in pole position. Now, See It Again has lost a few friends along the way. Yes, his run in the Met was an absolute cracker. That was over 2,000 meters. He was finishing faster than anything from a hopeless early position. He again races without the blinkers. Pierce Stratham takes the ride. Again, he's drawn out deep. Now we've got 4 short-priced favourites in over the 6 legs of the pick 6. This is one. If you're looking to turn over one of the short-priced favourites, then perhaps I'm not wishing ill on number 10, See It Again. He's clearly the class act in the race. He's clearly the horse to beat, even though 1,600 metres these days is at the bottom of his range. But I have backed him up with number 1, Zapateas, because I do think from that inside gate we're going to see the best of the former Guineas winner, number 1, Zapateas. His form prior to the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met was outstanding. And I think this race sets up very nicely for him. Number 9, Mercapitano, is going to have his fair share of supporters. He stepped up to 1,400 metres last time out and blew Snow Pilot away. And he goes an extra 200 metres here, which shouldn't be a problem for Mercapitano. And if you're looking for a little bit of an omen, this is the Jetmaster Stakes, and Mercapitano, by captain of all, is out of a mare by Jetmaster. So certainly it's fitting if Mercapitano were to win the race. Jetmaster is the broodmare sire of number 9, Capitano. But I've kept it very light on all known form and class and ratings and all of those sort of things. 10, See It Again, is going to be hard to beat. But is he vulnerable over 1,600 metres? He could be. I've backed him up with number 1, Zapateas. I expect that to be the exacta, with perhaps Mercapitano filling a trifecta and or a quartet spot. There are a couple of old soldiers. Sugar Mountain loves the track and trip and will run well. And the Real Prince is still a little bit of an enigma. They've really believed the Real Prince is the real deal. But, you know, his last couple of runs, this is quite a step up for him. So back end of trifectas and quartets, perhaps for number 5, the Real Prince. See It Again, clearly the one to beat. He's handicapped to win the race comfortably. But Zapateas, in my mind, could be a real threat.
So Graham and myself both on the same page. Number 1, Zapateas at around 10 to 1. You can get 11 to 10 with Hollywood as we speak. A fixed place, that might be the way to go. Number 10, See It Again, 7-time winner for the Michael Roberts camp, will be flying the KwaZulu-Natal flag and is 5.5 kilograms best in yak compared to Zapateas and the rest of them. Right, let's move on to race number 6, which is over 1,400 meters. And Graham, in race number 6, the money has come in bucket loads for number 6, Rockapina. From 5 to 2 down 11 to 10. A pleasing prep, peak run, and I think this is the spot-on run to unleash her fury.
Yeah, look, she's clearly very much on the upgrade. She won 2 of her first 4 starts, but there was nothing absolutely special about those. Beating Stu's Girl, who's still a maiden, and beating Pink Pigeon. But then all of a sudden she was thrown in the deep end in the Cartier Scepter Stakes and ran Asia Pambili all the way to the line, beaten only half a length. And there was nothing wrong with her effort in the Majorca Stakes over 1,600 metres, when beaten just over a length by Racecape and Double Grand Slam. Now, 1,400 metres in between the distances of her 2 last runs looks ideal for her. She's a daughter of one world. She's going the right way. She's got 54.5 to shoulder. So it's difficult to look past number 6, Rockapina, on the evidence of her last 2 runs. Mon Petit Cherie is a Grade 2 winner over the distance. She won the Western Cape Fillies Championship back in November, beating Beware the Bomb in that same race. Gimmy's Countess was a close-up 4th. Gimmy's Countess continues to be a bit of a disappointment. She's drawn out wide again, will drop towards the rear of the field and come with a late charge. But we can't carry on making excuses for beaten horses. So this is an opportunity for number 10, Gimmy's Countess, to set the record straight. The one thing in her favour is I do believe that 1,400 metres is Gimmy's Countess' best trip. And I think that she will be running on strongly at the end. The one horse in the race is the stable companion to number 6, Rockapina. The one horse that I'm quite keen on seeing how she goes, because I think she's ready to run a much better race, is number 2, Bavarian Beauty. Now also trained by Candice Bass-Robinson. She's had a pipe opener, but wasn't a particularly good one in the Scepter. She was well beaten by Rockapina, but she's looking really well, is Bavarian Beauty. She's cracked a nice draw, so I wouldn't leave her out of the exacta, trifecta and quartet play. But we're going in with Rockapina. I think she deserves to be at the top of the board. She's probably a little skinny now. The the better price has been taken, the value price has been snapped up, but she sets a standard in a big way, and I think whoever beats Rockapina will win the race.
Well, there we go. Number 6, Rockapina, a popular selection. And I'm glad Graham's mentioned number 2, Bavarian Beauty, because I thought this could shape up as the value for that exacta and swinger position. And this is also has one over the distance. And after that last run will be coming on. But number 6, Rockapina, a confident selection from number 2, Bavarian Beauty. Right, now let's move on to the big one, race number 7, and everyone will be looking for 8 on 18, number 2, who is currently priced up at around 3 to 10. Number 1, Garrix is 6 to 1, number 6 is 8 to 1, and then 12 to 1, and better the rest. Now, Graham, when it comes to this 2,000 meter splash out Cape Derby over grade 1, status, number 2, 8 on 18. He's the top earner from his 7 runs to date. He's almost earned 4 million rand, and he certainly woke up the stars with his Met performance, Graham.
Outstanding performance to come through and win a Met at only the 7th time of asking, and he's an experienced 3-year-old stepping up to 2,000 meters for the first time in his career. The way he finished off that race was really, really eye-catching, and he's clearly a 3-year-old of the highest order, not far behind one stripe, certainly on all the evidence to date. And I know there'll be people who say there's no such thing as a racing certainty, and that is a true statement, but there's no argument you can make for him to get beaten here. So it should be an absolute formality for number 2, 8 on 18. As I mentioned, the Politician Stakes is normally the Derby trial. That was won by Zeitz. He finished ahead of Garrix, Native Ruler, Dawn Till Dusk, Sail the Seas, Express Yourself. So those are the other 6 races that reoppose here. They all come into the race with a bit of form, but they've got a mountain to climb to beat number 2, 8 on 18. Perhaps at the revised weights, Garrix is now 3 kilograms better off with Zeitz. He didn't really get the run of the race in the Politician Stakes. He was caught wide on the turn as he made ground from further back in the field to be handy turning for home. I do think that Garrix will be a better horse once he's gelded. Zeitz does everything right since being fitted with blinkers. He's relaxed. He's an eye-catching grey son of Vercingetorix. He'll run a good race. But it's impossible to see any of these turning over 8 on 18. I know the big question mark in everybody's mind, well, what's the pace going to be? Well, I'm sure that Justin Snaith is not going to allow this to develop into a crawl and a sprint, because we know that 8 on 18 is a devastating turn of foot, and he likes to run at them late of a solid gallop. He may not get the kind of pace that will be absolutely ideal, but horses find their way into the winner's enclosure. And really, there's no argument to be made for number 2, 8 on 18 to get beaten.
Well, that was the next question I was going to ask you, Graham, about tactics here. Horse like number 5, Express Yourself, a one-time winner. They put Craig Bantam on, owned by Mr. Nick Johnson, who also owns 8 on 18. I don't want to preempt anything, but could you see number 5, Express Yourself, letting loose the first 4 800 meters just to set the pace for number 2, 8 on 18? Could they have a game plan?
I think they will have a game plan, and the fact that blinkers on number 5, Express Yourself, is a late declaration suggests that they're trying to sharpen him up to go forward for at least the first half of the race. Whether he can stay in front after that, because he does seem quite limited. He was comprehensively beaten in the Politician Stakes, but he's well bred. There's more to come from him as he matures. Because he is a type that might take a while to develop. He's out of a mare by Dynasty. But the fact they put the blinkers on number 5, Express Yourself, I do expect him to be in front, and perhaps tracked by Native Ruler, who went forward in the Politician Stakes. So it could be Express Yourself leading the way ahead of Native Ruler, then Zeitz, and then the rest of them in behind that. I wouldn't be surprised to see 8 on 18, even at the back of the 7-horse party, turning for home. But he should mow them down comfortably.
Now moving on to race number 8, which is the Kaya Stables, Diadem Stakes Grade 2 over 1,200 meters. And a banker in your perms, number 6, Gimme a Prince. He's a 7-time winner. He's got a 50% distance win strike rate. And that last victory was simply sensational. So a lot of the punters out there will be saying, we're taking a chance. Gimme a Prince, pass the post, Graham.
You know, Dean Canema has trained many, many top horses. One thinks of Dynasty and many other Grade 1 winners, Cape Town Noir, who won the Derby in 2013, etc. And he's often said to me that this is the very best horse he's ever trained. Plagued by unsoundness, yes. Spent long periods of time on the touchlines. He's had injuries to his knees. He's had to nurse him along in his career. But the way he won the Cape Flying Championship was just absolutely sensational, as you say. It is interesting that in 2023, he won the Cape Flying Championship and then got beaten in the Diadem Stakes by Bereave, who is in the race here as a big outsider. But the manner of victory, the way he won the Flying Championship, and the fact that prior to that, he was holding his form so nicely. I think that Dean Canham has got Gimme a Prince in the right sort of space, is in good order. And it's, again, very tough to visualize him getting beat. He's the highest rated horse in the country. As I said, Dean Canham has on more than one occasion said he's the best he's ever trained when at the top of his game, and he seems to be at the top of his game. It looks as if it'll be up to questioning Royal Aussie and Sir J to chase him home. Those are the ones most likely to finish second, third and fourth. But again, there's no logical argument against Gimme a Prince. The betting tells you the whole story, and he looks home and host.
On to race number 9, which will bring down the curtain on a terrific day's racing. And aptly named the Heineken Class 4 Fillies and Mares over 1,400 meters. So hopefully in front you can have a nice cold beverage, and hopefully going into race number 9 you can play for free. Now when you look at the betting, number 6, All the Boys I've Loved, from 5 to 2, 28 to 10, went 22 to 10 now, so has shortened in the betting. After that, you've got number 2, Golden Angel at 4 to 1, number 10, Miraculous at 4 to 1, and number 5, My Only Weakness, around 4 to 1. Graham, I always find one horse on the card on these big race meetings at a price, and number 7, Oni San from the Vaughan Marshall stable. Last seen out 21 days ago, the daughter of Denon Patina. She just keeps calling out on me. You know when you open up a book and a horse keeps jumping off the page? From an average rating of a 101 running behind Quintus Light, she was once upon a time a 98. She's now an 82. And I think this could be the race where the value lies over the 1,400 meter trip. What do you make of number 7, Oni San?
Before I answer that directly, clearly when you're looking at this pick 6 and the middle 4 legs are all areas where are the legs where you can go short, it makes obvious sense to open up with the field in race 4 and close off with the field in race 9. And normally these class 4 Fillies and Mares handicaps, that's the way you go, field and more. So I wouldn't put anybody off, including the field, because I think this is quite a competitive heat. And I wouldn't be surprised to see number 7, Oni San, bounce back to best form. It's been 644 days since she recorded her only career victory. She did start off her career with a lot of promise, but as you say, she's now plummeting down the ratings. So I wouldn't be entirely surprised if number 7, Oni San, made her presence felt in a big way. As I say, this is a class 4 handicap for the girls, and it could be ultra competitive. The obvious 5 horses, numbers 2, Golden Angel, the very consistent number 4, Among the Clouds, but like Oni San, hasn't won for ages, 591 days since number 4, Among the Clouds, won her maiden. My Only Weakness steps back in trip, but does get the blinkers for the first time in her career to help her along. She's game, she's consistent. All the Boys I've Loved, a very facile winner of a last start, and in that same race, Golden Ideal finished third, slightly better off at the weights and likely to get closer to number 6, All the Boys I've Loved, who certainly enjoyed going over 1,400 meters for the first time in her career on the 18th of January. And then Miraculous, she's holding form nicely. So those are the form runners. But Billy's like Easy Living, Oktoberfest, Love Story, Oni San, perhaps to a less extent the one drawn in pole position, number 1, Lucky Miss. But you know, if you've got away with going light in all of the legs and the favourites have delivered, you want to have the field at the back here. So it is very competitive. I do think my top choice would be number 2, Golden Angel. I think she's ready to run her best ever race. But huge respect for numbers 5, My Only Weakness, 6, All the Boys I've Loved, to a slightly lesser extent, number 4, Among the Clouds, 10, Miraculous, and as you mentioned, number 7, Oni San.
Well, I like number 3, Easy Living, as a quartet inclusion, and number 7, Oni San. Hopefully when I come to the Cape, I'll be able to collect some swingers, exactors or trifectas, or some money in race number 9. And then Graham, just an observation in race number 9. Of the 10 runners, 9 of them have come down in the ratings, and number 6, All the Boys I've Loved, the only runner who's gone up in the ratings. Quite interesting.
Yes, she's going to be tested. I think the fact that she's gone up in the ratings again, as you say, everything else has come down in the ratings. I think she's going to be tested all the way to the line. She was a fluent winner of her last start, but it's not cut and dried for number 6, All the Boys I've Loved.
Well, let's get straight to what could be cut and dried if it comes down to the bankers arriving. Your suggested bet is the pick 6, and obviously it's a skeleton perm, so the punters out there, they can take your valuable knowledge and then add their knowledge to it. So if you don't mind taking us through your suggested bet, which is the pick 6, Graham.
Yeah, race 4, carryover 500,000 Rand. The expected pool is 3 million Rand. The perm I've suggested is a mere 40 Rand. If you go field in the opening leg and field in the last leg and leave everything else unchanged, the cost will be 140 Rand. But this is the perm that I'm going to take a few times. I'm going to be playing other perms as well, obviously. 1, 3, 5, and 6 in the opening leg by numbers 1, Zapatias, and 10, See It Again. A little bit of a hedge against number 10, See It Again, is deep in the red. Then the 3 bankers, 6, Rockapina, 2, 8 on 18, and 6, Give Me a Prince. And closing out with numbers 2, 4, 5, 6, and 10, which doesn't include number 7, Onisan. So I always listen to you, Sheldon, so I'm going to throw in number 7, Onisan, as well. But like I said, I'm also going to go field by the 2 horses, by banker by field. That'll be the next perm stepping up from the skeleton perm that I've put on screen.
Well, thanks very much, Graham. It's always the way about structuring things, and as you say, that's the skeleton perm. You'll play 2 or 3 different perms, take the field in the first, field in the last, and then maybe alter a few in between. All I can say is we're looking forward to a great day's racing, and I can't wait to be there in Cape Town. So have a wonderful day, and may all the horses come to the fore.